can say this is officially our office's favorite MAPS coach, but this is also
it's taken a while.
You know,
we had to build trust with her. It's not like she's in the
whenever somebody wants to say that, how do you be a family company? I think we really have it when literally Lauren's sister, my sister-in-law, flies down here a couple weeks a year just to like hang out and work down here and also see her nieces and nephew and godchild, but also spends a lot of time with us and is very selfless and is happy to like sit down and talk and also I think every year now you're kind of saying the tradition of like helping us reframe the next year and think about it.
Yeah. And I'll say what I appreciate about you, right? And so when I met Kristen, she was a team leader, and she's like, well, really what I want to do is coaching. And she went relentlessly to build her whole coaching group to the point where then she wanted to take it and create Chief Collective. Mm-hmm. She is the type that wants to help you build that dream, what do you call it, the dream board?
Your vision board?
Vision board, thank you. I was trying to...
Your life by design.
Life by design, right? Which is pretty cool when we're thinking about a 20-year wealth plan or something like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's going to let you zoom out and like figure out what you're doing, which is, I think, more important than transactions. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to let you take it.
I love being here. Yeah, I seem to see you guys like at business planning time.
Is your microphone on?
Always, she's on me once. Yeah, can you guys hear me? No?
No, you are.
Now I'm on. Okay. Is it
Perfect.
Different?
You're set.
So I seem to see you guys at business planning time. And I'm like, I think I see you in the spring sometime. So I think we're usually talking about this. So when Jeffrey and I were driving home from the Jason Abrams-ish event. Yeah. I was the everything he told you guys is like, as MAPS coaches, these are the things that we passionately structure information around, like living your joy and building your business around the things that you want to be doing. Because I think as agents, we get stuck in the models and the templates sometimes, and without realizing like you don't have to necessarily operate with that. Because I say to people, like, if you went to medical school, you would choose what kind of doctor you are. You could be a generalist, yes, but typically you would niche down. So as agents, we forget that we have a brand and that we can niche down, and we oftentimes don't really understand what that looks like or how to start to create that. So I wanted to talk about vision casting, but it's from a deeper level today. And I love to give you guys some like NLP, neuroscience-based behavior change things. Today's going to be a lot of that. So I want to talk about closing out your 2025 with clarity, but getting clarity on that 20-year, maybe 30 for some of you, depending on your ages, maybe 10. It doesn't really matter, but it's that future vision of something. Even if you think like, I already have nailed it, or I'm there, or I figured it out. Realize what's no longer aligned. We carry so much stuff through with us that isn't necessarily aligned with where we want to be or how we want to operate. And that shows up in different ways for different people. There are two internal selves. I'm going to talk about the theory of that today. It's actually easier to grasp when we're going to go through it. And I want you to connect with the future version of you, calling you forward. So I want to build grounded, identity-led vision for 2026. But I want you guys, if your business isn't currently seated in that, I want you to start to think about what that looks like, why it's not, and what would be reflective of that as you kind of go forward. Why does this matter? Well, all of these things, if you have a misalignment in here, or if you're like, I don't have this piece figured out, or it's off, it throws everything off. Imagine you built something and you skewed one of your pieces of it, or you forgot to put a connection in somewhere. It's going to throw all the things off. So you will feel it probably in multiple areas of your life. And the conscious decision-making thing is huge. A lot of the conversations I've had over the past like 3 months, because we start business planning for my people in September. Like you're getting your data compiled. And actually, Jeffrey and I talked about this. I was like, how are y'all's business plans coming? You know I'm going to come in here and ask you about that. He was like, no, we don't really have the 2026 done yet. And I was like, what? We start in September compiling the data. October, we start to put it together, formulate the vision, formulate the plan. November, it's already done. We've already worked through it. We're in December, it's running. January and February set up. Pipelines are full, like clients are ready to go. This is where I want to get you guys in 2026. I'm going to come back multiple times and we're going to start talking about it in the spring to get you guys like rolling ahead of time. Did anyone do that particular one besides Ken, because I work with him? The business planning this year for yourself? For 2026. Yeah, did you start it early and you're done?
I'm not completely done, but I'm at 90%.
Okay, I love that. Anyone else? Yeah, Philip, you're always ahead of it. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I want to get all of you like next year to this point where like we've already ran it. So by the time I see you in November, you're like, we're already going. My pipeline's ready. All right, your future you is calling you forward. So think of, you have a past self version of you. There's a story that you're telling yourself. Or when you think about your limitations, there's a story that comes up. That story has a voice. It also has a timeline that it's seated in. It's either like a past version, it might be a present version. We can hear our future version, but we don't always listen to it. So if you think of the things that you tell yourself where you're like, it stops you in your tracks or it stops you from doing something else, that is probably either a present or a past version. And sometimes it's those two things and they're fighting with each other, which I'm going to talk about today. But you know the feeling? Like you get a feeling with it. Can you identify like what I'm talking about? Is this tracking? Yeah. Okay, it gets a feeling. So I always say like I would not listen to my 9-year-old or my teenager self, like if they showed up in front of me today, or my 20-some-year-old self. I taught like 3 months of this in KW Wellness because I'm a leader for KW Wellness. So it feels like this. I have this coming up next year. But I would not listen to my teenager self. Like she's fun, 20-year-old me. Lauren knows all of these versions of me. But we wouldn't listen to ourselves then. They don't know. They don't have the skills. They don't have the wherewithal. They don't know. So why are we listening to those stories? And the present self, we're concerned with something in the immediate present usually. Like we want to fill an immediate need. And depending on the alignment of those two, we make choices based on those to succeed or also to stop ourselves from all kinds of stuff. Because self-imposed lid that we put on. So the future you knows, though, no matter what version of that future you, it has all the knowing. It has all of that's the voice where it comes in and you're like, oh yeah, I can do it. Like that's when it gets you up in the morning. So if you're not aligning with those visions or you can't create that vision, it's probably because of a couple of these other things. So this is the distinct voice of the future self. I think I'll let you guys kind of read it. I'll share these slides with you guys after, but it's very different, those voices. Your past, your present, your future you, so different. I mean, we all, does this make no sense to someone in this room? I think we all like resonate with this. All right, here's kind of the thinking about these two selves. So Daniel Kahneman is so great. He's a psychologist. You can pull up his TED Talks. He has books on this. This is a really cool topic if you like neuroscience and behavior, but I love Daniel Kahneman. It's great. He talks about the experiencing self and the remembering self. He doesn't really put it in the context of like a past or present, even though I'm going to kind of align it that way. But it's the experiencing self wants to live moment to moment. It's usually like that present self. It wants immediate basic needs fulfillment. So, and it wants to do it like right now. And it also like can make us have impulsive decisions. It can stop us if there's misalignment. There's all kinds of things that happen with it. The remembering self is the one that wants a legacy. But the remembering self and the experiencing self, if there's an old story or if there's something happening in there, it causes so much misalignment. And oftentimes these two things want different things solved, but they want them at the same time. So that's why when I ask people like, well, what do you want? And they're like, I don't actually know. It's because these two things are fighting with each other. And so That's fine. So there's a way to figure that out, though. And I think that's where people think that they lose their ability for choice. They lose their ability to create that longer term vision. How do I create a wealth plan? I don't know, because I'm too rooted in these things. I can't even figure out how to get outside of that. Totally common. I always remind people, like, great, 98% of people, 99% of people are in some version of this fighting with each other. So there's a tension. This is literally the tension. I want to rest, but I want to achieve. I'm grinding, but I'm burning out. Into one side of this scale. You avoid the hard conversations, but I'm a leader. I want an organization or my team or in my relationships around me. This plays out literally everywhere. Everywhere. It carries over into how you do anything is literally how you do everything. Always. Like, we show up as ourselves. We do all the things. You stay where it's familiar, usually because of fear or something else that's misaligned, even though when you want that growth. It's just hard to see it. So the tension points is literally where you can do your future self. So I tell people, and I do exercises around, align with a version of your future self. I'm 49. Mine is 65. Very clear. Like, she wears cashmere. She does a lot of speaking. I own a stable of horses, and I have a high-end ranch. Like, I've written a couple books. I keep thinking to tell you guys about the books every time I'm here, but they're half-ish done on one. So I think it's really having a vision of it, but truly being able to, like, dial that in. And you might not know the context or the path of, like, how that happens, but it's less important because you can reverse engineer and start to sort out the tension and what's happening and why and where it comes from. And yes, you might need therapy. That's okay. And you also might need just a very good coach. But your future self is the integrator. It really honors and can pull you forward if you can quiet the noise and if you can get clarity. Some people are like, I can't even figure out what that looks like. And that's like, well, you may be rooted in survival, or you may be rooted in recovery from something. Your foot's stuck there like quicksand. It's possible to pull it out, but you can't usually pull it out by yourself. It's very hard and it takes a long time. So you have to have somebody with some tools, or there's all kinds of ways to get there. If it resonates, just call me. We'll talk about it. But your future you knows you're misaligned. That voice will not give you bad advice. It will tell you exactly how, what to do. It will know. If you cannot hear it, you may need some time to get quiet. This is where, like, business planning comes in. Lock yourself away, not here in your office, not in your home. Go someplace that removes you from any distraction or anything in your life, and be able to listen to what you want. And there's different exercises around how to vision through what you want. One of them I do, and I think I've given it to you guys if you've been in my past, like, business planning packets that I've given you. There's like a 10-year, 5-year, 3-year. Some of you nod, you know that one. That's the one, because you'll write it down in your own voice, like what you want. I love doing this with teenagers and people in their 20s, because they'll write down, like, what their parents wanted for them. And I'm like, did you really want that? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, who told you that? And they're like, my mom or my dad or my, you know. So, but when we get older, the expectations of our partners, of our worlds, our friends, our social circles, our environment, I mean, the world is a hot mess right now in a lot of ways. So we're listening to all of that. So we need to cut the noise and start to figure out, because all of this guides the ability to, like, you're like, how does this show up? I mean, in a million different ways. People will create the plans, zero execution, partial execution. People will be like, I can't make the calls. Well, we have a value problem and we got to figure out why. So this all trickles down to everything you do. So here's my reflective review for you. You can even take a picture of it, maybe, like, look at it later. But this is kind of your homework. Where are you in your remembering self versus your experiencing self? What worked, what didn't work, what's meaningful, what you want to carry forward, what was heavy, what's energizing, what was draining, and what felt expansive. because those are the keys to, okay, how do I unlock really where I want to go next year and what's not working right now? And then you ask yourself, why am I doing it? If it's not working, why am I doing it? Why do we? Sometimes it's comfortable, but it's not working. Are we really comfortable? I'm always like, is the house sustainable? Do you really like it? Yeah, like anybody gives me their plan, there's no right or wrong in what I see. I'm always like, cool, do you like this? Does this work for you? Are you happy in it? If you're happy in it and it works, awesome. Keep doing that. Like, great. I don't care what it is or how weird it may be. But if it's not, then we gotta let it go. And sometimes if we can't let it go, we have to figure out why. And that's where we start to kind of unpack or go deeper. What does the future version of me no longer tolerate? I think as we, at least like we talk about, like as we get older, our mom has a dumb saying, Lauren, like that, what does she say all the time? Like, you just become more of who you are. Yeah. But I think I think if you're an ass, or like if there is like you're not nice, or like you're not listening to the right version of you or whatever, you can definitely become more of that. But you can also become more successful, more, expansive in your life, more whatever. But you have to say, what are my patterns? What are my behaviors? What are the stories I'm telling myself? What versions am I listening to? What's my obligations? And also, when I talk to people, they'll say, like, this feels selfish. Like, that's the first thing that comes out of people's, like, conversations of this. Like, I feel selfish doing this. It's not okay for me to do this. And I was like, well, you cannot be selfless unless you have a perception of other people might think what you're doing is selfish, but you can't serve other people from an empty place. And you have to figure out what your adjacent responsibility is to something. Because I have agents and leaders that are like, I am pulled through my day and I have zero boundaries, and I'm just like at the whirlwind of wherever I'm being pulled. I can't say no to this. And then without those boundaries or those frameworks and the understanding of who you're actually responsible to, we're responsible to ourselves first, but sometimes we're being pulled into the responsibilities or the perception of responsibilities that we have to others. Of course, we're responsible to our neighbors, to our friends, to our children, to our families. But if we're not building our lives around what we want, it's just trickles out. And I think people with their businesses build upon expectations that have been set or frameworks that they were given, which works in the beginning, but also you get to a certain point and you're like, it's time to do something different. I've grown, or I'm at a certain lid. I can't figure out how to raise that lid, or I can't figure out how to step up in my business. Well, it's because you're still running a software system in your insides, like that's 80s DOS. And I'm like, you guys, it's 2026 now. It's time to upgrade to the AI version of whatever you're running. And it's possible. But we're just stuck in that old, like, first version Apple computer. It's crazy. It is crazy. You can get out of this. So figure out what your values are. So KW has mission, vision, values. Your business should have mission, vision, values. You as an individual should have mission, vision, values. And we're not always aligned with the individual part first. So create your mission, vision, value statement for yourself first. And say, like, what do I really value? Because you're going to figure out what your avatar is and your brand. And then from that, who are the clients you want to work with?
Back into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because we had that here. That was really hard for me. So I'd love it if you would spend a few minutes talking about it.
Yeah, the mission, vision, values for yourself individual and how it carries to business. Is that the piece? Yeah. So you can do exercises, and I have tools. If you guys email me, like, you have questions, I mean, we'll have question time today, but if there's something that, like, is like, I would like a tool for that, I have worksheets and, like, stuff for days if you want a workbook on one of these things. Value elicitation is first initially figure out what your core values are. Like, what do you believe? What are things that are related to your morals and ethics? So it's figuring out what does that look like. And it's different for everyone. There's probably a series of 20 maybe core values that you'll have some sort of combination of, but depending on who you guys are, you'll have different belief systems around what you value. And then you figure out, okay, so then if that shows up in my life in a certain way and I operate with that value system, how can I then put that into my business? So then you think about your business. And then you think about you. So think character, you choose your adventure or a book. Your avatar reflects that value system and how it shows up in the world. And then you think about, okay, this shows up in my business in a certain way. I'm going to attract certain people as my clients that are going to fit into this world. And make a pivot. Like, make a pivot. I have heard that, but I gently release them to someone else. Yes. Guess what? I'm going to release you. I had someone a couple months ago say, like, are you breaking up with me? And I was like, well, you might need a different voice. That's what I always say. So if I tell you ever need a different voice, I'm not breaking up with you. You truly might need a different voice. But so you figure out who your alignment is. Who's your client? Who do you want to work with? There's probably 2 to 3 types that are in there. And yes, we'll work with anyone, but you guys know, like, we have people we like that type of work better, or like we like to do this. There's nothing wrong with that. But those things start to align your mission, vision, values in your business with your whole life. That's where everything kind of starts to click in. Then your business gets happy. I always ask people, like, well, what do you like to do? I think I've probably asked this from this, but like, what did you get away from that you used to do that you let go of, that you forgot? A hobby, something that fulfilled you, you don't do it anymore. And then I'm like, figure out how to get a version of that back. And then guess what? You can actually build your business from that said thing. But that's where sometimes people are like, no, I just have to do this model. Well, you can do that model, and if it's working for you, yes, but if it's not, you can do it differently, and then it's like, here's a permission to do so. You can do that. So these are thinking about like the expansion when you're envisioning who that future self is. Who is this version of you at the end of next year? So depending on where you've like got that person, I can't pull my 65-year-old self to the end of next year. I don't actually even want to. I want the journey of it. But what would it look like next year? So when I do the long-term vision work with business, in a business sense, we take and we figure out like, okay, here's this path that I want to go on. There's multiple things I'm going to need on the path. I'm going to have to understand the economics of this path. It's really important. That's a 20-year wealth plan or 30-year or whatever, 10-year. You get the economics of it. You have the vision, then it's the economics. Then it starts to be like, okay, there's a growth gap in here that's going to be either skill-based, self-development based. Like, what are my growth gaps? And then what are my network gaps? Who do I need to know? Who needs to be in here? What's the leverage I might need in order to make these things happen? I can give you a formula. I don't have the formula here, but I can give you this formula. And if you have any past business planning packets from me, it's in there, but I'll send you one for this year. So you start to go through this because reverse engineering, literally anything, is how you get to the how of what do I do next? Because people are often like, it's so overwhelming. I don't even know what to do next. Where do I even start? Well, okay, what's the outcome that you want is the first question. Then let me work backwards and let me list it out, or whatever way you might be that you need to see it or interact with it so that you can understand what your next steps are.
This is from taking like a 5-year plan approach backwards.
Oh, we can take a 20-year plan backwards. We can take a 50-year plan backwards, depending on how old you are. I mean, like, yeah. So that's the problem. We can't think that far because we're stuck with these two things, or we're stuck in this. There's a timeline of our lives, and we are stuck in different points of it for different reasons. And we may bounce back and forth between those points. But then when we get to that future one, the stuff and the noise and the stuckness falls away. And it's awesome because then you're like, F it, I got it. Like, it's there, I'm going to get there. I'm not worried about what has happened.
So are you talking about the one final resting spot, or are you talking about 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road?
Sometimes it's just that future. Yeah, sometimes it depends on where you attach or align to, but it makes it easier because you're less worried about what has happened and you're more focused on what's possible. Because we get stuck on the what's happened to me or what's happened to this or what's happened. We get stuck. Yeah. I tell people, like, there's other work too within NLP. You could look it up. In NLP, it's called parts work. In cognitive behavior psychology, it's called internal family systems, like IFS. But has anyone seen Encanto or the movie like Inside Out, the kids' movies, like with all the little people? Okay, that's basically your stories. They're inside of you. They're emotions, but they're like little people or little whatever. There's work that you can do through coaching or through therapy to go through and pull out like these versions that might be stuck. And then you basically some way forward. You have to find a win. Go through it, but there is ways to get back whatever has you stuck. Because whatever has you stuck will hang you up forever until you reconcile it or figure out how to just move around it. So
Such an interesting approach that you take that I'm hearing you talk about. It's really, you hear everybody, let's go get some family therapy, right? Seriously, like I know guys,
Yeah.
I'm in therapy, been in therapy for whatever, how many years, right?
Mhm.
But I do kind of like that idea of like, how does that therapy like relate to the business instead of it being so categorized one thing like this is just purely psychological therapy versus actually how do you look at the business approach, your wellness approach, and incorporate that.
Yeah, they're related.
Right, you know what I mean? Like instead of being here and there, it's like together.
It's so related. We are not separate from any parts of our lives. We're affecting, and we have all of the choice. We're the driver of whatever we choose all day. People think that we don't have a choice, or they're like, I don't have a choice in that. Actually, you have a ton of choices in that. I just did 12 weeks with KW Wellness about like finding the choice in like literally every moment because they're all around you all day long, but we just blow past them. We're not paying attention. But integrating this work is how people actually step past like the levels in their business. And if you look at like top performers, top leaders, they probably had times where it was misaligned or they grinded or like it's crazy. I mean, I have moments of grind in my year of business, but there's a different alignment that allows you to like sustain through it. I mean, I get agents right now. I've had like conversations over the past 3 months where people have like, I haven't had a day off in 7 months. And I was like, what? 7 months? My first question is like, are you okay? Like, are you okay? And they're like, yeah, I'm great. I'm fine. I'm like, are you really? That's crazy. Are you even where you want to be? No, they're not. It is a wheel spin every day. They are like, woo, it is a wild ride. That's inefficient.
That's a choice.
That is 100% a choice, but they think that they don't have choice in it. So that's where I'm like, great, let me give you your choice back. Let me show you where those choice points are. These are like the parts of vision architecture that you can kind of go through, and they're categories. So you can think of your life or your business models or whatever and just think like, how do these fit over this? If I took this as a framework, how does it all fit together? What am I currently, like my software system that I'm running, how does it currently stack up in here? And what would I need to do differently or upgrade? So here's your questions about your priorities. What are my top 3 priorities? You can maybe pick 1, but you might need to start with 10 and then like start to whittle them down. Brain dump it all out. And then what do I need to deprioritize? That is huge. And people think they can't let go or can't deprioritize, or they're having trouble prioritizing. What's non-negotiable and what's irrelevant? We have all heard, like, what if you stopped doing it? Who would notice? That's your irrelevant stuff. We also do the irrelevant in order to distract or deflect us from what we should actually be doing, which is also spinning your wheels. Looking at emails, yeah. Fixer AI, you guys. There's a thing called Fixer AI. You can put it in your emails, and it will fix your life. It's AI tool for your email declutter. No, it'll just like classify, it'll clean it up, it'll tell you, it'll work like an assistant. There's different ones, but you guys, we can automate some of this stuff with technology at this point. So here's your structure for execution. What's the outcome you want is always the first thing. What's my vision? What's the outcome I want? Who can help me do this? What's my leverage? What are the metrics of this? Do I understand the economics of it? How do I want to track it? How do I know when I'm succeeding or when I'm not? What's my measurement here? That could be a lot of different things. What are the boundaries that I have around all of it? My time, what I say yes to, what I say no to. All kinds of boundaries. What new behaviors do I need? What new patterns? And how do I lead strategic decisions from my identity? I love strategy. I have an analogy, but I told Jeffrey we would save it for the end. I love strategy. I think life is a strategic game. And I think that's how I think that it's fun. Even when it's like, this is not how I wanted it to go today. But I'm like, okay, let me think about the variables that I have here. Let me flip the matrix for a second, and so I can see the binary code in my day, and then I can adjust what I do based on the outcome that I want. It's just strategy, you guys. So here's what I want you to figure out from all of this, is what are your action steps? You can take one aligned action that you're like, yep, this one aligns with, you might already have it in your head. We're like, that's the aligned action for whatever is brewing inside of you. There's aligned action. That's your next right step. Your bold action is the one that stretches you. It might be the scary one. It might be the one that makes you feel a little like off or a little scared or a little, like sometimes I'm like, if something makes me sick to my stomach, I know that's the one. I'm like, oh God, that's the one. Yeah. What's your stability action? What can bring you immediate stability? What can stabilize you, even if it's just for a moment? And what is your identity shift? What can you release? All of these things hit that experiencing self, the remembering self, and the future self. It makes them all happy, you guys. You'll please all of them.
What's identity shift? What does that mean?
So what do you need to release? If you released something, it may shift.
Stop doing something?
Yeah. What do you need to release? What's not serving you that you've hung on to that's skewing your identity in something? Like how you're showing up or how you might show up for yourself, how you might show up for others. It's just misaligned with like who you are.
I just don't even know where to start with some of this.
Well, then you may need to call me.
Whatever example we're making.
Maintenance stuff. Okay, so our experiencing self wants instant something. And it's depending on what does that mean. Sometimes we're like, I don't eat lunch. I blow right past lunch. I'm actually really dehydrated. I'm hungry. Physically, I need something. Great. My first maintenance step could be like, I'm going to make sure I have 20 minutes for lunch, 30 minutes for lunch every day, and I'm going to like start to figure out what that needs to look like. It's going to maintain me. Or my business by exercise, go for a walk. Say no. Yeah, that's probably also a little bit of the release one. Probably checks a couple boxes. It could be like, I know in my business I need to do one thing to help it grow, and that will stabilize the bleeding in something. Like I do a lot of economic analysis of people's like P&Ls and businesses, where you're like, guess what? I found you $4,000. Like stop the bleeding in your business. That's a maintenance action. Like so. It could look different for you guys depending on how you see this. Like when you read this, you're probably like, oh, yep. Yeah. you know what it is. So like, if you can't do them, then that we can talk about what that looks like to help you get to do them, but you can do these. So you got to integrate. When you can integrate these things, this is your result. It is not an overnight thing. This is something that like some of you will get it really quick in certain areas. Some of you, it might take years and years and years. It's taking me years and years and years. So like my whole life, basically, my whole like conscious life of this is taking me for a long time. It's a journey though, but that's what it is supposed to be. Your self is supposed to grow. Your business is supposed to grow. Your things are supposed to expand. You'll have setbacks. You'll step down off a step and you have to step back up. Whatever, it's just strategy. You just keep moving forward. But when you start to integrate it, it gets easier. You're less affected. You're more resilient. You can make different choices for what you want. You guys always have my info. You know, yes. Yeah, we'll send it out to you guys. Yeah, and I just taught this for 3 months in KW Wellness. If you guys are not part of KW Wellness, it's a great community. There's tons of stuff in there. KW Wellness is. Oh, okay. All right, you guys. We didn't know about it. Keller Williams is a glorious place. It has everything you could ever want and dream of, but we don't know that it exists clearly. So there's divisions in KW. And there is communities in KW. And sometimes in the divisions, even there's sub-communities. I am also part of KW Land, so I'm educated for land. After Family Reunion, I have a Unlock the Gold Mine for land that will be coming out. It's an 8-week course. So that's coming out with the land division.
How to sell land?
Yeah, how to sell land, it's right outside everyone's doorstep in most areas. Like, you guys are not, if you're within 30 minutes, you're 30 minutes from land. And we're not talking like just farm and ranch, even though I love horse things, but it's timber, it's development, it's raw land, it's agriculture, it's whatever, it's all the things. You guys definitely have clients.
So it's some class that you're doing.
Yeah, it'll be through Maps, Fast Track. Yeah. I'll be back with that one for you guys, but just to kind of understand how not Family Reunion, how KW is. Then the communities are KW Wellness is one. There's KW Pickleball. You guys, there's everything. KW, if you have it, there's a group for it within KW. KW Wellness is an umbrella that holds a lot of wellness-related content, groups, classes. I just did 3 months of this type of work with that, and it was free. So you guys missed the free one.
Okay.
It's coming.
We got to roll here, but we've got a couple of things.
KW portal that I've missed that has all this stuff in it.
Yeah, it's on the website. Yeah, it's all on Connect. Yeah, you guys get in Connect. Type in a topic. It's all there for you.
Also, when you come to events like you do, you show up at MegaCamp, you got to walk around. I mean, most of the convention floor is not vendors. It's Keller Williams' own booths trying to explain to you all the stuff they got.
Yeah.
And I think it's also talking to people. I was, and look, there is a lot. There's no doubt about it. But also, you just got to talk. If there's something you're seeking, come talk to one of us. Mm-hmm. And we might go to another person. But this is a huge one. I know it says ALC. I wasn't asking for the
Oh, but you have it.
This is a huge one. We're not worried about the ALC thing. We're just going to.
Yeah, I can fudge that. If you capped, I can probably fudge you past this. But don't do it through that link.
We're going to
do it through.
Connect through Kristen.
Yeah. Because you may not coach with me. I may not be the coach for you, which is totally also fine. I have a great network. As coaches, just so you guys know, if you're ever in coaching in MAPS specifically or in a coaching relationship ever, what you should know is that your coach is totally dedicated to your success, and we have no pony in the race or care who you're with. But we do want you to be aligned with someone who is the right coach for you. So people also say I'm with a coach. I've had so many calls in the last 3 months from doing events like around the U.S. this year where people are like, I'm with a coach and I'm not happy, or like I'm not good. Great, talk to your coach first, because we want you in the right spot.
The bigger problem in this room is we don't have enough people in coaching.
That is a
I think that's
big problem.
And this is
This is your entry.
Don't forget, you get a family reunion ticket for this too if you pull the trigger before
Yeah.
January.
Yep.
Okay. I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
David asked earlier what was the biggest takeaway from, or someone else who the biggest takeaway from Jason.
Cody asked that, yeah.
I think it's this new. There's a feeling that I'm having listening to you, listening to Jason, listening to a lot of the people who are the louder voices inside of the company right now, and it's that it's okay that I can't seem to find the discipline to just muscle through all this. It's okay that it's been a tough 3 years. All those things are okay. It's not about fault. It's not about not being enough. It's not about any of that. It's about acknowledge it and let's build a plan together of how we're going to take these two forces or the two selves and work through to the next thing.
Yeah. You can stop punishing yourself and find a way forward.
I think a lot of us, and I'm guilty too, have put ourselves in a I've failed or I'm less than for some reason because these have been tough years or we're in victim. We're in one way or we're in one side or the other. We're in victim. The market did this to me, or I didn't do this. I was at fault. We just take all that stuff on us, and then we're carrying that story around. And what I took away from your presentation is, if I don't release that story, I can't release to my future self.
No.
And if my 5-year, 10-year plan's been derailed the last 3 years, it's time to go rebuild that plan and get off the
hamster wheel.
Yeah, get off the hamster wheel. Because if you say things like "my day's not my own," or I just go from thing to thing to thing, and I have no control of my day, those are all red flags, right?
I wouldn't say it's a red flag, but I would say it tells me you have a lack of perception of choice, and then we have to figure out, well, why. And I always tell people, like, that's solvable. Yeah. We can fix that. We might not fix it today, but we can definitely move something within a 3-month cycle.
And you're sure not going to see how you can fix it just in a 5-minute talk while you're on the wheel. Like, you have to be able to pull away to get clarity.
Yeah, and it starts with small stuff. What I recently did within KW Wellness was, like, we called it Thrive 66 because I saw everyone doing 75 hards. 75 hard is great. Like, if you love that, love it, do it. 75 medium, I don't care. But what happens is, and this is why people do diets that don't work, do workout plans that don't work, do business plans that for sure don't work. It's because you've boot camped something, but it's not sustainable because you didn't change the behavior and you didn't change the human. And so you didn't change yourself. So you'll still show up at the table short term and maybe get through something, but long term, you will repeat that hamster wheel. Even if it doesn't happen for a couple of years, you'll get right back on it. And that probably shows up, how you do anything is how you do everything. That probably shows up in multiple areas. So what I did through that, or what I try to do through these things, is to give you those decision points, like, so that you can actually, like, unlock the matrix and you can say, like, oh, wait a minute, actually, I can make a conscious decision here based on strategy or based on need or based on just what I want, and I'm going to be okay with that decision because I intentionally and consciously made it.
Yeah, I think right now being strategic is probably more important than ever. And we used to say purposeful, but I think strategic is a different level on top of purposeful. You have a great analogy.
Yeah.
And share that with everybody because I think it's really insightful.
Yeah, Jeffrey and I were driving in the car, and I've used this analogy, and if you've been on any of my stuff this year, you've probably heard me say it, but I'm going to say it because I love it. I also feel, like, very intensely passionate about strategy and the choice, because Jeffrey and I were talking about your market, my clients in Florida market, some work markets, these are reflective. You guys are unique from a lot of areas in the country. It's opposite in a lot of areas. It has been this whole year. Jeffrey gave me, like, the market moment line, and I was like, inside I fumed for a moment because I was like, what? Never tell me it's the market. Yes, I know it's the market, you guys. The market is always going to be the market no matter where you're positioned. There's going to be something that you can find wrong with what's going on in the world around you. We can always find something. It is just variables and strategy. So my analogy was this. I like football. I love football. I'm not a sports person. I don't know about football, you guys, but I do know about strategy. I also love football, like Bill Belichick coaching YouTubes. I love football coaching. All right. Casey and I were watching this season, early in the season, and I saw the 49ers stadium, and I was like, oh my God, the opposing team has shade. Like, they brought shade. I was like, why is that? And he was like, well, the stadium, they bought canopies. And they talked about it. They were like, oh, the team has canopies. And I was like, I've never seen that before. I was like, what is going on with this specific stadium? And he was like, well, it's the sun's beating down on them. And I was like, is that strategic? Like, did someone architect that stadium for the sun to beat down on the opposition team because they're not from California? They certainly did. They 100% did. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, what do the other stadiums look like? So then I went and I started to research, because I'm a nerd, football stadium architecture. And I was like, wow, the East Coast stadiums that are uncovered, that get snowy, the sun beats down on the home team to keep them warm. So I was like, this is next level warfare in the NFL. And I'm like, all right, now I got into like, I love a rabbit hole of strategy and variables. So I was like, all right, do we think that any of these teams go to the Super Bowl and they don't know like the texture of the turf, the direction of the stadium? This team brought shade shelter. Like, what is happening in football? So I like went down this rabbit hole of the variables of strategy. They're intentional. And I was like, this is so smart. Somebody probably knows this. And if you're guys football people, you might be like, this is crazy that she doesn't know this. But I was shocked by this. And then I'm like, this shows up literally everywhere. We can do this. Y'all are not doing it. We're not doing it. But you can be. And it doesn't take for you to be an economic genius about what's happening in the market around you. No, it's just understanding what the factors are. So great, I want this outcome. What's the variables that are at play here? What am I up against? What stadium am I walking into? So then you just figure out your variables and you're like, great, I just need a strategy against that. And I always think, and I don't know this game, but when I was a kid, we had Risk. Lauren, I don't know if you remember, in our grandparents' house, they had like this Risk game. It was like a map with like army players and stuff. And I used to like the map and like look at the map. You might not have even been born yet. My sister and I are a little lapsed in our age. But it's just strategy. And it's literally just knowing like, okay, great. If I'm going to do warfare today in my business because I think the market is doing this, or my clients are doing this, or the people around me are doing this, okay, cool. Like, great. What am I working with? Okay, great. Now what do I need to change in order to adapt that, influence that, move that to the outcome that I want? And you may not always get the outcome you want because the world still has free will, and those variables are going to be just as good as your warfare against them. You're only going to get as far as you're good at getting. But that's where if you're missing the strategy, get someone to help you with your strategy.
All right, a quick question. Who's got one? Any left? We went through a lot. Lauren, you got
slides be available?
Slides are already available.
Already.
They're always available before the meeting even starts.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, you get an email with the slides in advance, and you get an email with the slides after the meeting every week.
I see one after the meeting.
I can't believe how calmly you said that. You have to do it like every
I think she wants to know, did you video the meeting?
The meeting is always videoed and put on multiple channels: YouTube,
Facebook, Twitter, blog, YouTube,
X.
Vimeo,
Oh my God.
Everywhere. I'm not even on all those channels. You
Nobody
guys
is
can find me
on
on
all of them.
Instagram,
Thank God.
sort of, but you'll just see me riding horses.
All right, go ahead, James.
Thanks for being here. It's always great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
As we talk through this and we sit here listening to you and we know when the foot gets stuck in the mud and you're trying to get past that point, I know everyone does it differently. I'm learning how to do that and get out of the old behavior, but do you have like a couple of little cherry pickings for us that, hey, look, I'm stuck in the mud. Mm-hmm. Do I step back and look at the past? Do I step back and look at what I'm doing right now? Mm-hmm. Or do I put it to the future?
Yeah. So go, Jeffrey, there's a slide somewhere that will help you that Jeffrey likes. Go to the opposite of where you are. So a lot of times, like, and I can't determine where that is, but I'll tell people, like, also physically, like physical state. So think about like the mental change of a state, the physical or energetic also change. So if you're like, I'm stuck here in the mud, which is going to be, you'll know if it's like a mental or a physical alignment. There's probably a little bit of both. Start to do that opposite in the moment. So I'll tell people, like, okay, if you're really depressed and really sad and you have a tendency to physically like sit on the couch, get small, get a blanket, honor your space to have to be in your emotions. But also, if you're in a certain physical environment, stand up, move forward, move out of it, take a walk. If you are feeling quiet, be noisy. Like it takes like that moment to be able to push yourself, and it feels sometimes silly or like really counterintuitive, but it's this like instant moment thing. With the mental part of it, if you're like in the story loop of like, you know, whatever that version is, stuck at that time, try to listen or craft the opposite story or the future story. Or if you're stuck in that future story, well, unless you want to unpack safely the old one, don't pull yourself necessarily back there, but like you can have conversations in honor of that. But it's the short answer is, think about what is the opposite of where I'm stuck. And then, okay, great. Now what would I first do to do that? Sometimes it's like literally just a physical environment. Stand up, move forward, walk outside. That's the like short solve. The other one is looking for what I call like a catalyst moment. There's decision points in your day. Have I told you guys my coffee mug story? Like, there's decision points in your day. For me, when I had a physical office, I used to want to get to the office because I would have a different sort of day because my home office wasn't set up for that. So it became where and what coffee mug. That was like, I had to go back and say like, well, okay, if I want to leave for the office, what's keeping me? And I kept going back, like reversing through like my patterns. And then I was like, oh my God, it's my coffee mug. So if I put my coffee mug, travel mug, on my coffee maker and don't allow myself to drink it until I get in my car, I'm solid. I'm smooth sailing for the day. I will leave my house. I will go. I will have the best day of work, so productive till 5 p.m. and then come home. If my home coffee mug was on my coffee maker, I was hosed. I would like sit down, read, like take an hour because I'm online clients, you guys. I can show up like with a blazer on, but I'm in my pajamas. And then my whole day would be totally different. So for me, I found that the coffee mug ended up being a decision point. It's like setting your clothes out the night before. It's a proactive step that you can take to cause a decision. You don't have to choose that decision when you get to it, but people will be like, I don't know how to start doing XYZ. I want to go to the gym in the morning, or I want to work out at my house. I was like, great. I reversed back with a client, and she was like, I have to leave my weights in the middle of my hallway, so I have to step over them physically. Great. Cool.
Whatever it takes.
Do it. Yeah.
That reminds me about like that reminds me of the one thing and how they say I haven't listened to the podcast lately.
The lead domino.
But yeah, exactly. Like that first thing, it's like, okay, well, I want to start exercising. Well, the one thing isn't to actually exercise. It's to put out your workout clothes the night before in your shoes and then wake up and put those on first thing. Yeah. So that was good because I needed a little reminder about that.
Your patterns will suck you right through your day because you're on autopilot. So you got to like disrupt them.
You can press send and receive, wait for the next email to come in, and deal with the next crisis.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, let's thank Kristen.
Thank you guys.